So this is interesting. I am on a delivery and it's a beautiful day, blue skies, but there's a rain cloud right over top of my head. So I've been chased into the woodshed, waiting for it to stop. I guess there's nothing wrong with stacking in the rain, but it looks to me that it's going to be over with sooner than later. And that's what's happening now. It was coming down pretty hard. But here you are, a mild-mannered firewood delivery service. And I say this repeatedly, the biggest miss that I had with firewood delivery was the weather. I just never thought about it. Doing this, making the big move, especially here in Ohio, because Ohio is an Indian word which means bad weather. You have to deal with the heat of summer, the cold of winter, the deep snow that comes off the lake, and then certainly rain. And having a hard-packed wood yard is a virtue in firewood, unless you're not fussy about what you're delivering, because that mud, you can't escape it. And I know this wood that we deliver to this restaurant, the wood that I used to drop that would land in the mud, it would get thrown out because it just looks terrible, and you don't want restaurants cooking over top of it. I think the rain has stopped and maybe it's safe to come out now. Oh, don't fall down here on the job. Okay, it has cooled off a lot. This has just been a brutal summer with the heat. Oh boy. And now it's starting to cool off, and you can just smell it in the air that summer is going away. We'll be getting into the fall. The winds will start picking up, and we'll just start getting that weird weather again. But in my case, I am trying to go on vacation, and this restaurant is a high volume restaurant. I bring them one cord around every, 11 days to 14 days. And they are right in that sweet spot of where I will be out of town, my blackout period, and they would probably run out, or they would get so low that it would affect my enjoyment of vacation. So I spoke with them about my schedule. They are fully understanding what's going on, and I am bringing in a half of a cord of firewood. I couldn't bring the full cord because it wouldn't have fit. So we're bringing in a half cord, and that will be more than enough to get them through my blackout period. And I am in the process of getting it stacked right now. This is my other truck. I got it out of the shop. It had the transmission lines replaced on it. If you own an F-150 with the 6-speed transmission, you know what we're talking about. It is a very known problem. And if you don't get it addressed, you could wreck your transmission without knowing about it until it's too late. Dude, it's starting to rain again. What the heck? There's just like one little blip of storm cloud, and it's right over top of me. So I'm going to get back on. I'm going to get back inside the woodshed here and try to stay out of the weather. This wood is pretty seasoned maple, and they don't like harsh strong woods like hickory. They think maple is right in their sweet spot for the flavor that they're going for. So I give it to them. But they're very fussy. I had been down here before on a delivery, and sitting outside the woodshed was like 5 sticks of wood that they rejected. It seems to me, depending on how your firewood business is set up, maybe you're not even in a position to deliver to places like this, because they want it stacked, and a lot of guys and gals that use the dump trucks, it's hard to stack off the back of a dump truck. Even like one of those landscaping dump trucks that's kind of like a F-150 with a bed on the, a smaller dump bed on the back, even that would be kind of hard to stack. And that was my thought through all of this, was I knew that I couldn't keep up with volume, and nor would I want to. It's just the way I want to live my life. So I was looking at smaller quantities. Well, a smaller quantity, you would think you would want a smaller truck. My first truck was a Chevy Colorado, a very small. It would only hold 1/4 of a cord, and that really limited my deliveries, because all I could deliver at the time was one delivery. And quite honestly too, that truck didn't get any better gas mileage than my F-150. So the F-150 with the 8-foot bed, where are we at here? I can, with that neatly stacked like that, I can hold an entire half cord or 2 quarter cords or 3/6 of a cord. And I use that unloader to keep everything separated, and we can get it delivered. And I get better fuel mileage with this than I did that 4-cylinder mini pickup truck. It's just kind of interesting how some of these things are. Okay, the rain is gone. It's over that way now. And let's get busy stacking. And I'll try to do this one-handed. I pull it away from the sides to clear the wheel wells, and this area the wood will get hung up on this. I had tried stacking, like for instance, if I was delivering a quarter cord and just one load, I tried loading 2 rows going this way and pulling it off the back. I thought that would be easy, but it isn't. You are always having to stop, unload, and then crank some more. And this way here, you really only have to crank 4 times to get it all off to the end. It just seems to go easy. It's easy for me to pull them off the sides and move it down. Normally too, when I'm delivering, especially at residential, the customers out there with me, it's just a nice way to talk with them, get to know them better, enjoy my job. But here, let's go ahead. I'm going to try and do this one-handed. Good luck here. All right, I'm going to crank the crank, and this isn't going as easy as I thought. Tailgate pops up if you're not pushing down on it. There. Easy, huh? Okay, so then we unload this. All the mess stays on the tailgate. Straight into the woodshed. Hand loading it like this, you can pull off a whole bunch at the same time, and it really goes fast. That's where I learned from. I used to leave them in piles, you know, bend down, pick up one in each hand, chuck it, repeat, and just hand loading, neatly stacked. It just sends a message to the customer that this is a professional load. There was a lot of care taken with it. It gives me a chance to clean the wood, make sure that the measurement is correct, that all the species are there, there's no infestation, because you see every single stick that goes into the load. But whatever time it takes to hand load this, to neatly stack it in the truck, you get it back when you unload it. It just goes so fast, and with the unloader too, it's easier on your back. You're not bending down, and you can minimize your twisting, you know, which is where a lot of your back injuries come from. Okay, I think it looks great, and we have that much more to go and we will be done. Okay, last row, all the crud, which I will point out, hand loading, that's all the mess there is for a half a cord, and that's pretty good, I'd have to say. But none of that, you know, gets delivered to the customer. Just nice firewood, huh? Looks great. So let's crank the rest of this out right here. Oh, I'm doing it one-handed. I'm a very skilled firewood delivery service, I'm telling you. I can do this with one arm tied behind my back. Okay. So that is it. The mess is in the truck. We can stack it in the woodshed. They will be fully supplied for the week until I get back in the saddle. And on top of that, they have gorgeous seasoned firewood. Okay, we got it done. The mess is in the truck. The wood is stacked. Who has the best firewood in the Mahoning Valley? I had said in a very recent video, it's starting to rain again, that my pricing for restaurants makes no sense, and I still stand by that. My prices are all over the place. They make sense to me, I guess. You know, the restaurants that I picked up when I first started doing it, yeah, they're a little lower. The ones that came on after I had it going on and I knew what I was doing, and you know, obviously their price is a little higher. But my point about pricing, I don't think it's just for restaurants, but also for residential or just the way that firewood people run their business. It seems that in firewood, there is this go-to belief that in order to get the sale, you got to discount your firewood, you got to lower your price. If you want to get a restaurant, you know, if you want to win their business from another company, you got to offer the wood cheaper. And I have lived by and have found that the exact opposite of that is true. The one thing, when I say that all my prices on restaurants are different, the one thing though that they all have in common is my price is higher, and in some cases much higher than what they were paying for. That is the way I've done my business. And what I had learned is that in this market that I go for, price, I mean, I'm not saying it's not important, but it is probably like number 4 or 5 on their list of what's important to them. And especially restaurants, they need consistent, responsive, high quality stuff, wood that's going to burn right now, and that's something that they don't have to worry about their cooks chasing a fire all day long. They can get the fire to the heat that they want and start knocking out dishes, getting their food delivered. So that is what all my restaurants do have in common, is that every single one of them, my price was higher. But I will also say that that value that the customer is paying for, they're getting it back from me because I am knocking it out of the park. When these guys have me as their service, they can cross all their worries off their list. Like this place here. There is no way I was going to go on vacation without knowing that these guys are taken care of. And I still have a plan B when I am out of town. There could be a blind spot that I missed. I have a plan in place to get wood delivered to them when I am far away from home. Okay, let's get back in the truck. It's raining. I am back at the wood yard. I got to get my gate unlocked. What I was going to do, I was going to throw in the mudwood that was at the bottom of a delivery. Remember, we had the flood and like the first 3 sticks up covered in mud. That all is going back to my wood shed. So I'm just going to take my truck in here and get it loaded up with a load of mudwood, get it put into my wood shed. And then I'm going to call it a week. I'm going to go on a vacation, guys. This has been an interesting summer for us. We did not go on a vacation at all. And, you know, I got my oldest daughter is now a functioning adult. She's on her own. We just couldn't get it together for our family vacation, but now we are. I have taken the steps, being a sole proprietor, making sure my customer base is taken care of. I also have a plan in place for any emergency that were to occur while I'm gone. And I still have my help that will be down here working around the yard. We're going to be mowing, pulling some weeds, getting some of these rounds moved around. It's always something to do in firewood. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with me. Everyone have a great day.